What up, Pharaoh fans? Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, MNG, and we are here to talk about a Reddit read. And man, this one is crazy. Have your fiance ever asked, could her best friend be the best man or the maid of honor? But it's the opposite sex. Man, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the content, man. And let me show you what this is all about. Y'all know how we do when we get down around here, man. So check this out. My fiance wants his female best friend to be his best man. And I just found out they hooked up once. What do you do in this situation? But you know we're going to break it down and we're going to have this conversation. Let's get into it. I'm 29 female and my fiance is 30 male. We've been together for 3 years and got engaged 6 months ago. Everything was great. Everything was going great until we started planning the wedding. He told me he wants his best friend to be his best man. She's 31 female. They've been close since college and I've always known about her, but he's never given me a reason not to trust him. I've hung out with her a few times and she's really nice. She's nice enough, but there's always been this weird energy. I'm third wheeling when she's around. Then the other night we were out with his friends and one of them got a little drunk and joked about how wild things used to be between those two. See, it's always that one friend that gets drunk and dimes out everything, destroys everything. Y'all got a friend like that? Make sure y'all comment their name in the comments. Like you that one friend that messes it up for everybody because you can't hold your liquor and you like to run your mouth. I asked my fiance about it later and he admitted they hooked up once back in college. According to him, it was a one-time thing years ago and they decided they were better off as friends. I was shocked he never told me that before. I feel like that kind of history is important, especially since he wants her standing right next to him while we say our vows. Now, I can't stop overthinking it. Should I ask him to choose someone else or just trust him? I don't want to be the jealous fiance, but I also don't want to ignore the red flag either. Man, this is a wild one. I told you I was going to be wild. This is a wild one. All right, so let's go ahead and let's just jump into it. Now, I do have a issue with this, having a female best. You have all these other male friends, but you want this young lady particularly to stand next to you and be your best man. That's wild work for me. I have to really understand. So let's just jump into it. So, they've been together for 3 years, engaged for 6 months. They started planning the wedding. All right. He asked because his best friend be the best man. She's 31 and she had no reason not to trust him in the beginning. She hung out with her a few times and everything, which brings up a very interesting question just in this first part is how do men and women feel about their spouses, their girlfriends or whatever, having best friends that are the opposite sex? That is a great question. How do you feel about that? If the man that you're dealing with, his best friend is a woman, he shares everything with her, he talks to her, he hangs out with her. How does that make you feel? Regardless of whether you met with her, they have this rapport and you can trust her, but really, how does that make you feel? Are you okay with that? Are you not okay with that? Is it only good if it's fair across the board, which you can have male friends that you go out and hang out with? How does he feel about that? Where's the trust level there? How many people are in relationships, long-term relationships, but have platonic friends that are the opposite sex that they're very, very cool with and their spouses are actually comfortable, or maybe they're uncomfortable with it? I would like to hear about that. Go ahead and drop it in the comments. I would like to hear your thoughts. So, but she noticed that they had such a rapport and they have such energy that she felt like she was always third wheeling, which makes sense because anytime you have a rapport with somebody and you're the third person out, it does feel like you're third one because they tend to have conversations that you're not a part of, inside jokes that you're not a part of, and there's this connection because of years and years of friendship and experience. So it's understandable that you would feel like you're left out. Or is it that you feeling left out because she is a woman that's having a rapport with your fiance versus if it was a guy. If it was a guy, would you still have that same type of feeling or that same type of rapport or that same type of mindset, feeling like you're third wheeling when you're with the guys, if they were guys, versus it being a woman? Now let's lead up to the point of the other night where you were out with friends. One of them got a little drunk and joked about how wild things had got between those two. Now that is very interesting that they say that, wild things had got between them two. And then when she asked the fiance, he said that they hooked up back in college. Now, even though he said it's a one-time thing and it was years ago and decided that, they were better off as friends, that could be the case. But if anybody knows from experience, anytime that they decided they better off being friends, who the one that stated that they would be friends? Who the one that probably initiated and engaged the sexual activity? So let's go ahead and break it down. The best friend probably initiated the activity of sex, probably was drunk or whatever the case is, probably initiated the activity, and then woke up the next day, decided that, I want to keep the friendship. I don't want the friendship to go away. I don't want to destroy the friendship. Let's be better off as friends. Whereas the guy probably was like, no, I really want this. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. And she probably freaked out and was like, no, I don't want to do it. How many situations have that happened? How many men know that happened to they have a platonic friend with somebody, they end up having a one night with them, and they're thinking, man, we can grow from this. We have such a great basis of a friendship, and we can grow from this. All for the woman to come out and say that, no, I don't want this. I only want you as a friend, and we should just stay friends. Now, her being friends with him for so long, and now that he's getting married, and he wants her to be the best man, I find that to be a little awkward. This is somebody that you hooked up with. Why would you want them to be in your wedding? It seems so suspicious to me. That's just my thoughts. I find it suspicious. I feel like this young lady is, what some women do is they keep that one person in their back pocket. So if all else fails, after they get done running the streets, after they get done doing all this other stuff that they want to do, then they go back to the one that they feel like was the most compatible, is what they wanted. They just didn't want at that time, because everything is for some reason about timing. Relationships is about timing, but what you want out of life is all about timing. This is especially when it comes to women, it's all about timing. So she's biding her time. Even though he's getting married, she's biding her time. I don't think that the feelings is going away. That's just my personal. I don't think the feelings is going away. But y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Now, she was shocked because he never told her that before, and it makes sense. Because if he did tell her that, imagine what her response would have been. Probably would have broke up the relationship or called off the wedding. Like, this is not something that I would want to share. But, since it's here now and it's at the front door, we gonna say it was a one-time thing. Now, it could have happened a few times. It could have happened, multiple times, whatever the case is. But I don't think it was a one-off thing. And if it was a one-off thing, I'm pretty sure that their relationship wasn't the same for a little bit of time afterwards. But however the case is. But she feel like that's kind of history that's important. Not necessarily. Okay? I don't believe that he should have told you this. Just as much as I don't believe women should talk about their body count. Because you start talking about your body count, then the man could be like so you for the streets. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to deal with you. Are you going to bring your body count up? Like, I say it time and time again, women base men at their present day based on their past. Men base women based on who they are now and what they can bring in the future. It's completely backwards. If we judge women based on their past, we wouldn't deal with none of them. Because I'm pretty sure there are some women out there that have did some savage things. And then you have men out here that if you base them solely on their future, then you will see the potential in that guy and be like, oh, you know what? I think he's going to be a success. He's going places. But that's not what they want to do. So you have you have situations like this where I wish I would have known that ahead of time. For what? What was that going to change? What exactly was that going to do besides make the situation worse? So then she want to say that she can't stop overthinking it, and she should ask him to choose someone else or just trust him. Now, here's where my advice comes in, is that yes, I think that you should ask him to choose someone else based on the history that they have. I'm not saying that you shouldn't trust him, but at the same time, in order for you to feel more comfortable, in order for the wedding to move in succession, whatever like that, or in the best possible way, then maybe he should choose somebody else, or at least meet you halfway or some sort. I really want to understand how people feel. What if she had or how would he feel if she had a matron of honor or bride of honor, or whatever that position is called, and it was a man? You know, it could be straight man, it could be a gay man, it could be whatever, it could be a lesbian woman, and say that they hooked up. You know, would the response still be the same? Would he say, oh, you know what, I trust you, you know, it was a one-time thing, it's fine? Or would it be some jealousy, some envious nature, or some hate there? Now, is this a red flag? I definitely see this as a red flag. It's a major red flag, because you're keeping somebody in your life that you have knocked off once, and you're getting married to another young lady, which means that at any point in time that you are in turmoil, and this goes for men and women, when you have these platonic friends that you have knocked off, if it comes down to y'all having turmoil in your relationship, and you go to that best friend looking to be consoled, looking for advice, looking for conversation, there is a damn near 100% chance that you're probably going to end up in a situation that you don't want to be in. It has happened time and time again. I can't account of many situations that I have heard where it has not happened. You have a rapport with this person. You already understand how it goes. It's like going back to an ex and to tell them about your current relationship. The emotions are going to come back up. The images and the romance is going to come back up. The thoughts are going to come back up. And then you're going to end up with your legs spread, or you'll end up with whatever. It's going to turn into a bad situation. So definitely my best advice in this situation is, hey, have the conversation and say, look, I need you to meet me in the middle here. I don't really feel comfortable, and I won't feel comfortable at my wedding if that person is standing by your side. If they in the audience, if you feel comfortable with them in the audience, have them be in the audience, but not to stand up as a best man and orchestrate the whole best man crew, have the best man speech, because the best man gotta give a speech, the best man speech, and all that goes along with that responsibility. I just feel like that is a lot. I feel like that is something that they really need to have a conversation about and come to terms with, because there's no telling what type of relationship or what they've been doing over the last 3 years, or what they've been doing since college. Okay, I mean, that's a long time. That's a long relationship. I mean, it could be 6, 7, 8+ years, but there's no telling what's happened over that time frame. They could have hooked up again. You know, there was only a question about college. They only did it in college. The question that come up was, did y'all do anything since then? Have y'all been doing anything since we've been together? Because some people, women and men respectively, can play their role, and they can play their role just fine. And that's one thing that you definitely want to be mindful of when you're dealing in these relationships, and you find out some of these things that you made that are questionable, as she stated, red flags. So that is my best. That is my best advice coming from MNG. Is basically have the conversation, see if you can find a middle ground, and just explain how uncomfortable you would be if this person standing up there knowing that they had this one-off relationship and that it could have possibly happened again. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What you think about this one? How did you feel about it? Should she have the conversation? Is it a red flag? I'd like to know your opinions in the comments. Make sure you go ahead and drop it in. I'll catch you on the next go around. Peace.